The Buffalo Bills have struggled to eclipse the mountaintop in the past few seasons, but there's hope with some of the key moves they made this offseason that they can finally do it in 2023. Now, last season, the Bills were the favorite to win the Super Bowl heading into the season. They became the popular pick amongst analysts and media members, and through the first 7 weeks, they showed why. They started 6-1 with multiple blowout wins against the Rams, Titans, and Steelers, and their only loss came on the road in Miami against the Dolphins, where they lost a nail-biter 19-21, and it felt like they controlled most of that game. But after their fast start, they would have their only hiccup of the regular season with back-to-back losses against the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings, and if I'm honest, they definitely should have won the Vikings game. They held a 24-10 lead at half and really only lost the game because of a fumbled snap at the 1-yard line to gift the Vikings the tying touchdown. But right after those losses, it was right back to business for Buffalo. They went on to win their last 7 games of the season, clinching the AFC East divisional title for the 3rd year in a row and earning themselves the number 2 seed in the entire AFC playoffs. Their first matchup in the wildcard round was against their division rival, the Dolphins, for the 3rd game between them in the season, and the Bills were overwhelmingly huge favorites in the game. Vegas set the line at -14 for the Bills, which was one of the biggest opening spreads for a playoff game in NFL history, and out of the gates it looked like it was headed for a huge blowout. The Dolphins, led by their 3rd-string rookie quarterback Skylar Thompson, got down 17-0 early in the second, but to give the Dolphins a little bit of credit, they battled back and gave Buffalo a massive scare, only being down 3 points at midfield with 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. But the Bills would ultimately survive and advance to the first round, giving them a rematch for a game that got canceled in the regular season due to the unfortunate events of Damar Hamlin against the Cincinnati Bengals. Because of their regular season records, the Bills had home field advantage, which going into the game felt like a massive key in the outcome due to a lot of snowfall coming down right before kickoff. But this would quickly turn out to be the worst game the Bills played in the entire 2022 season, and that's been a topic of discussion for the last several months on what happened. It felt like, in my opinion, the Bills just came out flat. The Bengals threw 2 haymakers early, going up 14-0, and Buffalo never responded. They looked out of sorts as a team. They couldn't sustain drives on offense, and their defense couldn't stop the Bengals from doing whatever they wanted. Were the Bengals just the better team? Did the Bills get out coached? Was it just not their day? Or could they have been facing some sort of distractions rematching against the team one of their players suffered a very serious injury against? I can't really answer why exactly what happened, but in the end, the Bills would lose 27-10 on their home turf and go into another offseason with a ton of disappointment. But something I thought the Bills needed to address to be able to get over the hump was more support and weapons for Josh Allen. I've personally shared the mindset that they've relied on him to be perfect game in and game out, and that's not easy for a quarterback to always have to carry the entire team. You look at the teams in the league that have been able to get over the hump and make the Super Bowl, for example, like the Bengals, who have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon, or the Eagles last year with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Weaponry and surrounding your quarterback with multiple really good players has become one of the most important team building requirements, and the Bills haven't been able to do that in recent years. Outside of Stephon Diggs, they haven't had a weapon that puts fear in opposing defenses, and when he inevitably gets double and triple teamed because of it, their offense usually struggles. So that's what I've identified as the root of their issues. I know there's a portion of the Bills fan base that is really high on Gabriel Davis, but he simply hasn't developed enough to be leaned upon as the team's number 2 wide receiver. And to be fair to Brandon Beane, he has tried to establish a running game with a quality young back. They spent multiple premium picks on them in the past few drafts. Devin Singletary in 2019 with a 3rd-round pick, Zach Moss in 2020 with another 3rd-round pick, and even 2 drafts ago taking James Cook in the 2nd. Singletary and Moss didn't really work out. They're both on new teams now, and James Cook showed a lot of nice potential as a rookie, but wasn't the main back last season. So I do think the Bills organization realizes this as well. They just haven't been able to correctly execute it quite yet. But this offseason has been their best effort to address the issue thus far, taking their first skill position player in the 1st round of the draft since Sammy Watkins all the way back in 2014. The Bills would trade up 2 spots with the Jacksonville Jaguars to draft who many experts labeled as the best pass-catching tight end in the class in Dalton Kincaid. And shortly after the pick was made, it became very apparent how excited the front office was to get him. Beane told the media, "You asked me 5 picks before we picked. I still would have told you we were going to trade down. I thought Kincaid was going to get taken." He went on to say, "We were looking for guys to add to our skill positions that can be matchups, and whether it's a receiver, tight end, whatever it is, just a guy, another weapon to, hey, you can't double team Stephon Diggs every play. We've just tried to look for different things, different pieces to use so that offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and the offensive staff can come out and kind of be in multiple formations, multiple looks, different game plans." And so far, the review this summer in practice is that Kincaid is looking the part and is exactly what the Bills needed. There's been multiple viral clips of crazy catches and plays he's made all across Twitter. I've seen a pair of one-handed catches. The first was just a simple in route for warm-ups that he easily snatched out of the air. The second one, though, looked like 11 11-on-11s where he was literally falling to the ground with a defender right in front of him, yet he still scooped it up with his right arm before it hit the ground, completing the catch. On top of those catches, his route running has looked very smooth despite his large size at 6'4", 250 pounds, and the Bills players and coaching staff have had a lot of really positive things to say about him. Josh Allen was asked about what he's seen so far from Kincaid in practice, and he said he's smart, he's instinctive. I feel like no moment right now is too big for him. He understands the offense, he understands his role in the offense. He's not trying to do more than what he needs to. He went on to say his catch radius is pretty big, he's got some grippers on him, and he can move this around and snag the ball out of the air. He's a very good hands catcher. Their offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey also said, I think that more so than anything that really stands out is just the fact that he's really kind of stepped in and he looks like a guy that has been out there before. I think that's a big part of kind of who he is and the work he's put in. So with how he's looked so far in camp, I'm expecting him to have a fairly big role in this offense next season. Some of the red zone struggles and middle of the field struggles the Bills faced last year should be vastly improved now that you add a big skilled target like Dalton Kincaid into the mix. He had 8 touchdowns in back-to-back years as a sophomore and junior for Utah, so he's got a proven track record of being able to be a more than capable weapon in the red zone, and combined with that, I also see him as a seam threat and someone who can be a chain mover on third down. Those are two massive areas I can see him having a huge impact in as a rookie. Some people at the time though did find this pick interesting because the Bills already have a pretty good tight end in Dawson Knox. Why would they invest a premium pick in another one? Well, it's pretty simple. Now as an offense, they have a bit more flexibility on schemes and packages they can run with 2 legit tight end threats. They can run 12 personnel and line both of them up in line, or even flex Kincaid out wide and try to get him matched up against a linebacker or a safety, and then theoretically you've got a matchup advantage. Where I don't see them using him a lot is as a blocker because that's not really a part of his game. I see Kincaid in the Kelsey role or the Darren Waller role, where he's basically a wide receiver with the position label tight end, and we've seen how popular that's become in the league now and the matchup nightmares that can create. I mean, that's a big reason why the Chiefs offense has remained top of the league despite having a pretty mid wide receiver core. It just opens a lot up for your offense, and as far as Kincaid goes, he's got the tools to be one of the best receiving tight ends in the entire National Football League. So I'm going to be very curious to see how the Bills decide to use him this year and if he is the long-awaited missing piece to this offense. And I do think they're going to need him to be effective as a rookie. The AFC East this year is looking like an absolute gauntlet with all of the teams in there having a very good defense. The Jets were a top 5 defense last year and they're bringing back practically every single starter. Their defense will be good once again. The Patriots have Bill Belichick, the best defensive coach of all time. He's always going to have that defense playing well. And then the Miami Dolphins hired Vic Fangio, a long-time respected defensive coordinator, and they have a lot of nice pieces on every level of their defense as well. So the 6 divisional games the Bills play this year will be a battle, and I think Kincaid is the X factor for their entire season. If he can make that offense a bit more efficient and provide a solution to teams double teaming Stephon Diggs, the Bills are going to be hard to overtake at the top of the AFC East. But let me know what you think about Dalton Kincaid and how many yards he will have as a rookie, and also let me know how many games you think the Buffalo Bills will win in 2023 and if you see them winning the AFC East for the 4th season in a row. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, thank you so much for watching the video, and I will catch you guys in my next one.